everyone, this is Claire with Local Tasting Tours. This summer I'm leading the SOMO tour on the downtown Halifax waterfront and throughout the downtown. Today we're at Common Roots Urban Farm, and I've got our guest, Jamie Melrose, the project coordinator for the Common Roots Urban Farm. So Jamie, tell me about how this all got started.
It started within Capital Health a couple of years ago. They got this piece of land as a land swap for the library downtown, and they knew they want to build a hospital at some point, but they don't have the money yet. And so they could put in a parking lot, but that doesn't actually contribute to health in any meaningful way. Someone proposed the idea of an urban farm. They put it out to the public. The public was very supportive, and here we are.
So we're going to take a little stroll through the gardens and talk about what we see. But first I'll just introduce our guest today, and it's Alex Mclean from Zuppa Theatre Co. And what do you have upcoming this year with Zuppa?
Well, we are doing two things. We have an old show called Uncle Oscar's Experiment that we made pretty much exactly 10 years ago. As a kind of a 10th anniversary of the show, we're remounting it this October with a new design. And then we are also working on a new show that is actually going to have a food component. So it feels very appropriate today, where we're going to be collaborating with a chef and making a show that attempts to be all about joy and celebration.
And so you'll have a food component as actually part of the show on stage?
Yeah, that's right. So there'll be a chef on stage who's cooking during the show. Audience members will get to eat during the show. The idea, I guess, is that the show is multi-sensory. So theater is usually audio-visual, but this will be a theatrical experience that engages all 5 of the senses.
And I heard you're collaborating with a quite renowned chef for this project. He's going to design your menu?
Yeah, we're working with a guy called Daniel Burns. He's worked at a bunch of restaurants like Noma, The Fat Duck, Momofuku in New York, and now is running his own place in New York. So he's kind of worked with a lot of the world's leading chefs and is an old friend of ours. We've been talking for years about wanting to collaborate in some way, and it seems like it's finally going to happen. Okay,
let's get walking, and we'll try and sample some of these lovely offerings that Jamie has here.
I totally want to come to that.
Yeah.
When is it going to be on, Alex?
Well, we're going to do a work-in-progress version of it next spring, so May or June of next year. Then it will happen in its full form probably in the fall following that, so September, October, November 2014.
Awesome. Okay, so Jamie has just put some little edible flowers in our hands to nibble on, and there's a sign here that says nibble equals okay.
They're Johnny Jump Ups.
They're this gorgeous purple color.
One of the fun things about eating flowers is that flowers really usually only last for a short time. And so if you don't eat them, they're just going to fall off to the ground. Yeah, so these little...
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, these little flowers, they're just really cute in salads and on sandwiches and in drinks and stuff. But they also have a medicine effect.
Which is?
Which is that they're mucilaginous.
And so you have some of these rows where it says it's okay to nibble, and does that mean that anybody in the public can wander around and have little samples?
Yeah, totally. Because there's 3 parts to the garden. There's the community plots, the market garden, and the edible landscaping. And so the community plots are for the community people. If you have a plot, that's your thing. As long as it's legal, you can do whatever you want. And then we have a market garden, which is over on the other side, which is the long rows with the crops. And so all this food's going to the food bank. So we thought we better have some space for anyone to just nibble and steal. Like if you're going to steal from the garden, steal from here.
So any time of day I can kind of come by here and steal some stuff.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah. So I'm going to feed you a daylily now. So my favorite way to eat them is first shake them upside down, because sometimes they have earwigs in them and they bite your tongue and they hurt a little bit. So, and then just...
We are eating daylilies. This is the first for me. What's it like, Alex?
It's really good. It's a little lettucey. It sort of has the texture of lettuce, and I guess a sort of a floral note. It's like a sweet lettuce.
And these ones, so they're called daylilies because the blooms last for 1 day. And so if you don't eat it...
This is a classic example of what you were talking about. The flower just goes.
Yeah, exactly. So it's crazy to not eat them.
They're really crunchy. They just taste kind of like they're at the peak of their perfection.
Different colors have different nutrient in them. So we should get our blue vitamin today too.
Okay.
So they're these little blue flowers. So these are called borage.
The color is amazing.
And so their medicinal property is that they inspire courage.
Something that I find myself often lacking.
Right, it's the perfect theater flower.
It's a little like seaweed, eh? Don't you find? Like a dulse or something?
Part of this same family as comfrey, which is that big clumsy plant over there. And so these plants are really well known for gathering nutrients. So if you want to be a vegan farmer, that is the one plant that you need to really, 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 really grow.
Comfrey.
And so you plant those in your gardens to be the fertilizer, kind of like your cow as a plant or your seaweed as a plant.
If you're not using manure, that's what you mean.
Exactly. And even if you are using manure, if you're permaculture or biodynamic or even an organic farmer, they all know comfrey. Everyone uses comfrey.
So I see little mini daisies.
These are chamomile. And these are raspberries. These raspberries are fun because they're yellow, which means I get to eat them all because no one thinks they're ripe. I'll show you the white strawberries. This is catnip. It's a nervine. Okay. So it's really good for your nerves, and it's a soothing herb. It's one of those ones in like the sleepy time teas.
Right.
So it makes the cats get high and the humans get shh.
Huh. After all that courage, I'll calm myself down a little. It's spicy.
Oh, there's a mint and a lemon hit right away.
Yeah,
oh my god, this is so fascinating.
Kind of tastes like a Christmas tree, like including the lights.
I like to call the garden Haircuts by Children, which is inspired by a theater piece out of Toronto.
Yeah.
Because the whole garden is kind of...
It's like that.
Yeah.
Haircut by a child.
So should we head for those purple flowers you were talking about?
What are they?
Those are called Transcantia. But you can see that a bee is appreciating the flower, and it's got big pollen sacs on its little legs.
So they store the pollen.
Yeah.
We always ask our guests 2 final questions. So Alex, do you have a treasured childhood food memory?
Maybe my favorite one was a trip my family took to Scotland. It was like pouring rain, and we drove towards this town called Nairn. We have this photograph as we approached it where there was a big rock. Spray painted onto the rock was Jesus Saves. And we got into Nairn, and the only place that was open was a little fish and chip shop. And inside the fish and chip shop, they might have been the spray painters, I don't know. There was like all of this religious paraphernalia. And we had fish and chips, and it was that classic British, like skin on, lightly battered.
In paper?
Yeah, in newspaper. I don't know if it was Jesus, but the fish and chips definitely saved the day.
That's amazing. What about you, Jamie? A childhood food memory?
I remember that my favoriteest foods were the kokanee. It's a freshwater salmon. We would catch a bunch of those and then just pan fry them on the campfire with the skin on in butter.
Jamie, do you have a favorite local business that you'd like to support?
I'm going to go with CarShare. And now they have vans too. So for the gardener and me, I can actually go to the nursery and pack it full of plants and then safely transport them home.
And you, Alex?
Right now, I'm really excited because I'm a North Ender, and I'm really excited by what's happening at Gus's Pub. Now they're doing this great thing where they have Brooklyn Warehouse doing Ace Burgers there, and they are also serving Bridge Beer, which is the new North End brewery that I love.
Alex, how can we find out about upcoming Zuppa events?
You can visit us on our Facebook page, which is Zuppa Theatre Co, also at our website, zuppatheatre.com. You can also always, if you have any questions, you can email us at info@zuppatheatre.com.
Great. And Jamie, what about Common Roots contact?
Anytime between 3 and 6 p.m., there's hosts on the site, and hosts are friendly people that know things.
Every day of the week?
Every day of the week. You can also go to the website, which is partnersforcare.ca, Urban Farm, and Twitter is CR Urban Farm.
Well, thank you both so much for doing this with me today. I'm here with Jamie Melrose from Common Roots Urban Farm and Alex Mclean from Zuppa Theatre Co. And we've had a lovely morning wandering through this garden and sampling local food. It doesn't get much more local than this. You're picking it from the ground in the middle of downtown Halifax. This is Claire with Local Tasting Tours. Take a tour, take a bite out of Halifax.